All right, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can make a lot of money online by creating your own apparel brand or by starting a print-on-demand business. And both of these have pros and cons, and I'm going to show you how to do this without any money to start, or at least very, very little money to start. You don't need a lot of money to start a successful apparel brand like a lot of people think. A lot of the big apparel brands actually started with very, very little money, and there's special techniques to do that. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to show you two tools that very few people are actually using that will set you apart from the competition, set you apart from everybody else. One of these tools is going to help you identify huge trends in the print-on-demand and apparel space, and the other one's going to allow you to start having great, really high quality apparel products from the start and not using the same print-on-demand methods, everything like that other people are using. So we're going to jump into the computer in just a second. I'm going to explain all of that. Before we do that, if you guys could please go ahead and do me a favor, smash that like button down below, hit subscribe if you haven't already, leave any comments or questions down below. I love going ahead, connecting with all of you, answering any questions you might have. A lot of the questions I get have to do with starting your own apparel business. I put out videos on this for the last few years now, and I've talked about how to actually do this by starting an apparel business, whether that's print on demand or actually your own clothing line from scratch with very little money. There's a couple techniques how to do this. One of the most popular ones, even though not many people actually do it, because it does take some work, but one of the most popular methods is to go ahead and start with print on demand. You'll start with the print on demand store, whether that's a Shopify store, that's what I suggest, or WooCommerce, whatever. You'll start with print on demand, and you'll actually create your own designs, whether that's you actually designing it, you using services like Fiverr, all of that. You'll have designs, and you'll have the print on demand store, and then over time you can go ahead and start replacing print on demand with your proven SKUs. You'll actually go ahead now actually buy inventory of a SKU, and then over time you start replacing that to then having your own full-on clothing line if that's what you want. Some people out there want to create just a print-on-demand business that does very well, and there's a lot of people out there that start with a print-on-demand store. They're great at getting great designs, capitalizing on trends like I'm going to show you today, and that's their whole apparel business, and they do very well with that. Both different strategies work insanely well. I would say the quick method to a lot of money is the print-on-demand side, learning how to actually tap into the trends, doing that method. But the kind of long-term, huge potential and what really sets you apart from everybody else is going from print on demand to then replacing with your own clothing line and then having that take off from there. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And the two tools we're going to talk about today will help you do both. So whether you just want to stay with print on demand and make a lot of money with print on demand, kind of a little bit more of the drop shipping route, or whether you want to actually create your own clothing line from scratch with very little money, both of these tools are going to help you and they're going to set you apart from everybody else. So I'm going to create an actual series on this. I've gotten so many questions on how to do a successful apparel business, make money online with clothing. It kind of separates you from just all the typical drop shippers out there. A lot of people try to stay away from apparel because it does entail a little bit more work. Sometimes you go into a little bit more, returns, sizing issues, all that. There's more things you have to worry about. But in my opinion, it is my favorite niche because the opportunity in apparel is so huge. And if you really capitalize on creating your brand, you can really dominate, and you can dominate for years, and you can have a business that you can really scale up. Not just make that quick cash online. You can make quick money online, but then also have something of substantial value that you can grow over time. So we're going to talk about that. Today's video, though, the first start of this series is talking about these two tools that you should start utilizing. So one of these is going to help you start thinking about what you should go into, what market, what niche you should go into, what type of designs you should have, examples of great designs. And then the second one is going to be more of how to actually start using your products, how to actually start putting your designs on products. With my favorite service out there for that. A lot of you, I'm sure, have heard of Printful and all the different, print-on-demand sites out there. This one's going to be so much better in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead, jump in the computer, and I'll go through all of that. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so the first tool I've got for you is called Merch Informer. I'm going to go ahead and link this down in the description box below so you can go ahead, start taking advantage of this. But we've talked many times before about product research tools, niche research tools, market research tools. For something like drop shipping, there's a lot of those for people on Amazon FBA. But when it actually comes to specifically the apparel markets, and how to actually do print on demand and all of that, there's actually very few tools out there. And Merch Informer is specific to creating a clothing line, creating a print on demand apparel business, all of that. So if you're wanting to create your own apparel line, you're wanting to create a print on demand store, I highly suggest you check out Merch Informer. What you can do with this is very, very cool. So you can go ahead and do trademark researches. You can do keyword researches. You can see which niches are taking off. So no matter what side you're trying to go into, whether it's creating a complete clothing line from scratch or trying to figure out which is trending right now for print on demand, you can go ahead and do that. So on this, you can literally go through, you can see which shirt designs are already working out. So for print on demand people out there, this is absolutely huge. You can see what's trending. You can go over to the Trend Hunter, and the Trend Hunter will literally show you right now certain shirt designs, how they're taking off. So you can see, right now, if you're trying to get an idea of different designs that are working, if you're trying to, you've got a designer, whether that's on Fiverr or whatever you're using to create your designs, if you're doing it yourself, you can see what's already working out, what the market is already deeming working out. You can see the stores that are actually selling it. This is a great, great, great tool, and it's very, very cheap to use. You can actually go ahead and get a free trial, all of that. So if you're trying to create a clothing line, print on demand business, all of that, I highly suggest you check out Merch Informer. I'm going to be talking a lot more about this in the upcoming series videos because the data that comes out of this is absolutely huge. So definitely check out this one. The next one we're going to talk about is how to actually source your product. So I'm sure a lot of you have heard about Printful and the different very, very popular print on demand services out there, to where you can go ahead and create a logo, a shirt design, whatever it is, slap it on a shirt and all that. And Printful and a lot of these other ones do a great job, but there's a lot missing from these, or a lot, it leaves a lot to be desired. Now, these are still great for testing out your designs. If you're trying to essentially go from print on demand, testing your designs, finding out if they actually sell and work with Facebook ads or Google ads or whatever you're using for marketing, then you can go ahead and replace those with, whatever supplier you want to use to actually go ahead and get your clothing line started, actually start buying SKUs of your product. These are great services to go ahead and test. But there's one in particular that I love using way more than any of these other ones, and very, very, very few people know about it. It's very high clothing line, or very high quality, and you can actually do some other things with it that a lot of these other services don't allow, or at least don't offer. And this is one that not many people use. I've talked about a lot on this channel. It's called Apparel. So Apparel was originally started as, how to actually start a clothing line. But with this, you would actually need to go ahead and buy bulk of, whatever your design was. So if you're creating a sweatshirt or shirt design, all that, it was just like creating a clothing line with any other supplier out there, whether it's cut and sew or whatever you're using, that you need to go ahead and, have a minimum order value. Well, if you're trying to test, your product and you don't have much money to start, you're essentially wanting to start from scratch with very little money, you've got a very small budget, you'd want to go the print on demand method. You want to go with drop shipping. Well, a couple years ago, Apparel actually started doing this. So what's cool about Apparel is you can really, really customize all your clothing with this. So as you can see right here, this sweatshirt right here, you can actually go ahead and create a different sleeve. We can come over to hoodies right here, and you can start seeing, different examples of what you can do. And the cool thing is with this, you can actually go ahead and drop ship this. You can go ahead and do print on demand with Apparel. They started that. And it's very, very customizable. So if we come over here, we can actually look. You can do pocket tees. You can do liners for your hoodies. All of this. So this is where it really, really, really sets you apart. It will make you seem like a legitimate clothing line rather than just someone who slapped a design on, on just a regular white t-shirt. This is going to set you apart, and it's going to give you that quality that I'm sure you want if you're wanting to create a clothing line. Now, I'm going to talk in future videos specifics to, say, creating a fitness line. That is a little bit different than something like this. Obviously, you're not going to want to use Printful. You're not even going to want to use something like Apparel. I'm going to show you how to create, apparel brand like Gymshark or Alphalete, something like that, to where you can actually do fitness. But today we're specifically talking about print on demand apparel line, or a traditional clothing line like streetwear. applique is going to be great for this. I'm going to show you something really cool too that you can do with the print on demand service. And that's where you can actually go ahead and have your own tags. You can create your own tags that even with drop shipping, even if one customer buys one shirt, you can have your own logo, your own tag in here, rather than just Gideon or whatever the shirt company is. You can have your own tag, and this really creates the branding and takes it to a completely different level than what everybody else is doing. So if you want to go ahead and take advantage of that, you can install the Shopify app. When I installed this a couple years ago, you'd actually go ahead, do the app, and then I believe they went ahead, approved your store, all of that. It's a very, very simple process, but just come over here, go to sell, go to drop shipping. You'll download the app, assuming you're using Shopify, onto your store, and then they'll approve you. And then you can start doing this. Another cool thing you can do with this is have your own custom boxing. So not only do you have your own custom labels, you can have your own custom boxing. This is where you can start with a print-on-demand business. You can start your own clothing line from scratch, and what you do over time is just then replace the print-on-demand with actual inventory. So then you actually have higher margins. You can do even more customizable things, all of that. But this is how you can start a legitimate, very successful clothing line, apparel brand from scratch with very, very, very little money. And very few people are taking advantage of this. A lot of you out there I know want to start your own apparel brand, don't know where to start. This is a great way to start. Get your feet wet while actually creating something of great value. So definitely check out these two tools. Check out Merch Informer. This is a great one to start giving you ideas for designs out there, different market research, all of that you need to do before you even start. And then absolutely check out Applique for starting your own designs, all of that. This is where you can do some very, very, very cool things. So in future videos of this series, we're going to be talking about how to do a fitness apparel brand, all of that. We're going to go into depth on a lot of these tools and in the actual process of starting from scratch with very little money, taking print on demand, and then eventually having it to where it's your own clothing line that then you can scale up over time. We'll talk about marketing having to do with all of that. If you guys want to see more in this apparel series, definitely drop a comment down below letting me know you want more of these. I don't want to keep doing all of these apparel videos if you guys don't want them. This is definitely a different side. It's taking advantage of the whole drop shipping method, but taking it to a whole different level and more of a sustainable level that you can have huge success over time. So drop a comment down below. Be on the lookout for more videos on this. Hit subscribe so you never miss any of these videos. And if you could, please go ahead and smash that like button down below. But I hope to see you guys in the next video. Be happy, be positive, be powerful, and have a great rest of your day.